In a world overflowing with noise, where everyone is desperate to be heard, there exists a profound power in saying nothing at all. Silence, not emptiness, not avoidance, but a deep, intentional stillness. It's calming, grounding, and more transformative than we often realize. Imagine this. Someone criticizes you harshly. Anger bubbles up inside, or grief feels unbearable. Our instinct is to react, to defend, to speak. But what if you simply paused? In Buddhist teachings, silence is not weakness. It is wisdom in motion. It's the space where understanding grows and suffering begins to dissolve. Buddha once taught that words can both heal and harm, but silence allows us to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. It gives us room to observe our emotions without judgment, to breathe through anger instead of fueling it, and to sit with grief instead of running from it. In that stillness, clarity emerges. We begin to understand that not every battle is ours to fight, and not every wound needs words to heal. Silence becomes a shield, not to block out the world, but to create space for compassion and insight. Think about how often noise drowns out what truly matters. The constant chatter, opinions and judgments. We absorb it all until it overwhelms us. But Buddhist practice teaches us to return to the breath, to the present moment, where silence holds the answers we seek. So, the next time life feels too loud, try listening to the silence. In that quiet space, you may find peace, strength, and a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. Because sometimes, the quietest moments carry the most powerful impact.
We've all felt it. That sharp sting of unfair criticism, the urge to defend ourselves, to fire back with words just as harsh. But what if, instead of reacting, you simply let silence speak for you? Imagine criticism as waves crashing against the vast ocean. The waves may stir the surface, but deep below, the ocean remains still, steady, and untouched. Buddhist teachings guide us to embrace this depth within ourselves. Silence, in moments of conflict, is not weakness, it's strength. It becomes a shield that protects your inner peace, softens the heat of anger, and diffuses tension. Most importantly, it preserves your dignity. When we respond with silence, we allow emotions to settle, giving space for understanding and compassion to rise. We choose not to feed the flames of conflict, but to extinguish them with calm presence. This isn't about ignoring or suppressing feelings, it's about mastering them. So, the next time someone's words strike like a storm, pause, breathe. Choose to be like the ocean, calm, deep, and unwavering. In that silence, you'll find a quiet power that no words could ever match. We've all been in that situation, listening to someone boast about their achievements, their success, their greatness. And deep down, there's that subtle pull, that urge to share our own victories, to prove that we too are accomplished. But ask yourself, why? Why do we feel the need to compete in conversations that should simply be shared? Buddhist teachings offer us a powerful truth. True confidence doesn't need to speak. It simply is. Imagine a tall, ancient tree standing strong in the middle of a storm. The wind howls and pushes, but the tree doesn't fight back. It doesn't sway to prove its strength. It stands firm, deeply rooted, unmoved. That is the quiet power of silence. In moments where others seek validation through boasting, Buddhist philosophy reminds us that validation is not something we chase. It comes from within. When we are secure in who we are, there is no need to compare, no need to outshine. Our worth isn't measured against someone else's story. It simply exists. Choosing silence over boasting isn't weakness. It's a reflection of strength, self-awareness, and humility. It shows that you are deeply connected to your own path, and that path doesn't need to be louder than someone else's. Let others have their moment. Let them share their joy. And you stand steady, grounded in your own peace, because in that silence, you express something far more powerful than words could ever convey. You show that your confidence doesn't need an audience. It's rooted, it's calm, and it's real. So, the next time someone tries to impress you with their stories, smile, listen, and remember, like the tree standing strong in the wind, your silence is not emptiness. It's presence, it's power, it's peace.
Rumors have a way of spreading quickly, like wildfire. They ignite emotions, tempt us to react, to defend ourselves, to set the record straight. But have you ever noticed? The more we try to fight the flames, the bigger they grow. Buddhist teachings remind us of a profound truth. Silence is like water. It extinguishes the fire. When faced with baseless gossip, the instinct to respond is strong, but silence holds a power that words cannot match. It takes courage to stay calm, to step back, and to trust that the truth doesn't need your defense. It needs your consistency. Over time, people see through the noise. Actions rooted in integrity and kindness speak louder than any explanation. Picture yourself as a lighthouse during a storm. The winds howl, the waves crash, but you remain steady, your light shining through the chaos. This is the strength that silence brings. It doesn't mean passivity, it means choosing not to add fuel to the fire. It means protecting your peace while allowing the truth to surface naturally. Buddhist philosophy teaches us to let go of the need to control others' perceptions. Gossip and rumors are reflections of those who spread them, not of who you are. Responding with silence shows not only wisdom, but also confidence in your path. It shows that you are grounded, unshaken by the storm around you. So, the next time someone speaks against you unfairly, pause, breathe. Trust that your actions, your character, and your inner peace will speak for you. Just as water calms the fiercest flames, your silence can bring clarity to the chaos. Be the lighthouse, steady, shining, and unmovable. In your silence lies your greatest strength.
Anger is like a volcano bubbling beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to erupt. And when it does, it brings destruction to our relationships, our peace, and even to ourselves. But what if we could stop the eruption before it begins? What if we could channel that energy into something transformative instead of destructive? Buddhist teachings offer us a powerful practice. Pause, breathe, and embrace silence when anger arises. Silence here is not about suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about control, about creating space between the feeling and the reaction. It's in that space that clarity emerges. Picture anger as a wave in the ocean. It rises, strong and forceful, but eventually it falls back into the calm waters. The wave doesn't last forever, and neither does anger, if we don't hold on to it. By choosing silence, we allow the wave to crest and subside without letting it carry us away. In those moments of silence, we have a choice. We can let anger dictate our actions, or we can use it as an opportunity for reflection and growth. When we pause, we begin to see the root of our anger, whether it's fear, hurt, or frustration. And in seeing clearly, we open the door to understanding, compassion, and even healing. Imagine the power of transforming a moment of conflict into a moment of peace. Instead of reacting with harsh words or impulsive actions, you respond with calm. Silence becomes your strength, your shield, and your teacher. It shifts the energy in the room, diffusing tension and making space for connection rather than division. So, the next time anger stirs within you, pause, breathe, let silence guide you. In that silence, you'll find the wisdom to navigate even the stormiest emotions. And as you practice this, you'll discover a deeper truth, that within the quiet lies your greatest strength and the power to transform not just your anger, but your life. In moments of deep loss, words can feel empty, unable to carry the weight of our sorrow. Yet, in the stillness of silence, we often find a quiet sanctuary, a sacred space where emotions can rise and fall like waves, free from judgment. Buddhist teachings remind us that silence is not emptiness, but presence. It's an invitation to sit gently with our grief, to breathe through the pain, rather than turn away from it. In Buddhism, suffering is a natural part of life, and through mindfulness, we learn to observe our emotions without clinging to them or pushing them away. This acceptance allows the heart to soften, making space for healing. Grief can feel like standing beneath a vast, dark sky. It's overwhelming, endless, and heavy. But even in the darkest night, stars begin to appear, small, steady lights guiding us forward. Our sorrow, too, can reveal hidden strengths and quiet truths about ourselves and the world around us. Choosing silence in times of grief isn't about avoiding pain. It's about allowing pain to transform. In the stillness, we can listen to our breath, to our hearts, and to the wisdom of impermanence. Everything in life rises and passes, just like the seasons. Grief, too, will shift and soften over time. By embracing silence, we create a space where resilience can grow. We begin to understand that loss is not the end, but a part of our shared human journey. In this awareness, we can find peace, not by forgetting, but by accepting, honoring, and moving forward with compassion for ourselves and others. This is the quiet strength of Buddhist teachings, a reminder that even in suffering, we can find moments of peace, light, and ultimately, healing.
Not every argument is worth your voice. In the face of ignorance or anger, silence can become your greatest strength. Buddhist teachings remind us that true wisdom does not need to shout to be heard. It simply exists, steady and unshaken. Imagine a mountain during a fierce storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, yet the mountain remains still, unmoved. It doesn't fight the storm. It allows it to pass. In the same way, when we choose silence over meaningless conflict, we reflect inner strength and self-mastery. This silence is not weakness. It is a conscious decision to protect our peace. Buddhism teaches the importance of mindfulness and right speech. Not every thought needs to be spoken, and not every challenge needs a reaction. When we engage in arguments driven by ego or the need to be right, we waste precious energy that could be used for growth and self-discovery. Silence, in these moments, becomes a powerful tool. It allows us to step back, observe, and understand rather than react. This doesn't mean we avoid speaking out when necessary. It means we choose our battles wisely, guided by compassion and wisdom. Silence in the face of ignorance is not surrender. It's an acknowledgement that some minds are not ready to hear, and forcing our voice upon them only creates more suffering. By holding silence, we give ourselves space to breathe and reflect. We deepen our understanding and conserve our energy for what truly matters. In this way, silence becomes an active choice, a shield that protects our inner peace and clarity. Buddhist teachings encourage us to live with intention. Choosing silence over empty debates reflects a mind that is calm, centered, and aligned with higher values. Wisdom doesn't need to defend itself loudly. It simply is. And in that quiet strength, we find a profound sense of freedom. Silence is far more than the absence of sound. It is a profound force for inner transformation. In Buddhist teachings, silence is seen as a sacred space, the stillness between thought and action, where true clarity arises. It is within this quiet that we reconnect with ourselves, finding the wisdom to move forward with purpose and intention. In a world filled with noise and constant distraction, silence becomes a refuge. It is in this stillness that we can hear the soft whispers of our heart, understand our emotions, and recognize the patterns of our thoughts. Buddhist philosophy teaches that when we quiet the mind, we create space for mindfulness to grow. We begin to observe rather than react, to understand rather than judge. Silence strengthens our ability to focus. Without the clutter of endless thoughts and external noise, our minds become clearer, more precise. This clarity allows us to make decisions rooted in wisdom, not impulse. It fosters deeper connections with ourselves and with others, because we are fully present, listening not just with our ears, but with our whole being. More importantly, silence nurtures inner peace. It teaches us that we don't need to fill every moment with words or actions. Sometimes, the most powerful response is no response at all. Through silence, we learn to sit with discomfort, to accept the ebb and flow of emotions without resistance. This acceptance transforms pain into understanding and confusion into insight. Buddhist teachings remind us that mastery of life begins with mastery of the self, and self-mastery begins in stillness. By embracing silence, we cultivate balance, harmony, and resilience. We become more grounded, more compassionate, and more aligned with our true nature. Let silence be your guide, your teacher, and your ally. In its quiet embrace, you will discover strength, wisdom, and a path toward a life of deeper meaning and lasting peace.